Welcome to Bakke Graduate University instructional video on the topic of the Styles menu. As you may know, all of Bakke Graduate University templates are available in the online classroom and in the library in Populate. This paper template will help you to write your papers. It's already formatted. It has the titles of the sections already marked. For example, this one is already marked heading 1. So really, you don't really need the instructions on the Styles menu unless you've made a mistake and you need to fix it. A lot of times what happens with our students, let's just go down and here's a book review. And let's just say you've gone ahead and you've changed the title of the book, and then you go down here and accidentally in your writing, you accidentally start typing and it's still in heading 2 instead of the normal text. So what we're going to do now is go to a blank document. This is just a blank document, and this is what your normal documents look like when you first pull them up. And so you'll notice this is your Styles menu right up here, this section on the top. And normally your formatting for each one of these styles is different from what you need to have with an APA paper. So for example, I'm typing heading 1. And now I click on heading 1 and that's what the heading does. And that's not what we want, is it? And this is what I normally do, is there's a little button down over here and it says more. If you click on this little button, a down arrow, it brings up this menu. And if you click on Apply Styles, it gives you a little box here to your right. And this allows you to look very quickly and easily at what your text is formatted to. Let's go back to our heading 1, and you'll notice here is your heading 1, and what you want to do is click on Modify. When you click on Modify, it brings up this text box that allows you to change. Number 1, we want to change the format to Times New Roman, which is what all of your documents should be in, and everything within that document should be 12 points. It also should all be black, the black font. Okay, so now we've changed that. We also want our heading to be centered, so we'll click on the centered button. And our heading 1s should always be double spaced, so we click on the double space. Now let's say we want other changes to be made to this format. If you click on the Format button down here, click that, it brings you up a list of different things that you can change. You can go into different kinds of fonts, but the paragraph one is the one we want to look at. In this setup, your level 1 heading is set to have 12 points before and 0 points after. Now, generally speaking, you want your headings to have a little bit of space between it and the text, so you can add, let's say we add 6 points there. And then we're going to say OK, and OK, and we've saved it. There it is. It appears heading, but it's not bold. We need our heading to be bolded. So let's go back into Modify, or you can do a quick modify by right-clicking on the title, and it allows you to modify right here. If you don't want to have that side text on the side here, you can just right-click on your title and click Modify, and there you are. You're right back in. And there you want to click Bold, and then OK. Okay, now it's bold and it's exactly what it should be. Let's say we want this one to be a level 2 heading. Let's do the same thing. We're going to click on the level 2 heading. Well, first we're going to click, so we've made it heading 2 because before it's set to normal. So we want heading 2. We can right click and modify. Again, we want to change it to Times New Roman. We want to change this to 12. We want to bold it. We want it to be black font. We need it to be double spaced and centered because we want to add 6 points above and 6 points after, and save. Now I know that in a lot of your APA manuals, they all vary. There's different instructions for each one. Well, BGU has created what they've called their specific changes that are uniform for all BGU documents. And this includes your thesis and it includes your dissertation. So we'll look at that in just a moment, but the reason that this is centered, that's one of the BGU distinctives. Normally your second level heading is aligned to the left. Now our third level heading, let's just call this third, oops, you have to type right, third level heading. Now our third level heading, here's our heading 3. I'm going to click on heading 3. I'm going to go over here to modify it. Again, always Times New Roman, 12 point. But your third level heading is bold and italic, and it's the black font, and it's aligned to the left, double spaced. So let's say OK, and there you go. It's changed to what it should be. Now let's go into our paragraph formatting. So if we hit and enter, we're back to normal. But normal isn't necessarily the font or the formatting that you want. So what I normally do is I create a heading or a style that's called paragraph. So let's change this normal to paragraph. You see how I've changed that? I'm going to say new. And now I'm going to go in and modify. Now in your paragraphs, again, it's Times New Roman, 12-point font, and double spacing. But we also want to indent the first line. So let's go to Format, our paragraph. We want our special first line indented by 0.5 inches, double spaced, nothing after. So you always want to make sure this says 0, 0 there. The other thing that you always want to keep in mind is you want to have the widow orphan control checked. This is so that you don't have what they call a widow, a line hanging at the end of a page or a line at the beginning of the page without the rest of the paragraph. This keeps two lines together. So let's say OK, OK, and there it goes. It should be, yes, it's formatted correctly. The other thing that you're going to want to format is your block quote. Okay, this is your block quote. So let's create a new style that's called a block quote. Okay, and say new. Now we're going to go in and modify this. Now it's already formatted to the 12-point Times New Roman because it's based on your style paragraph. But this one, we want to go to paragraph. We want the whole paragraph to be indented 0.5 inches. So let's put left indent as 0.5. Again, I usually take this first line to say none. So no indented on the first line for your block quote unless you have more than one paragraph in your block quote, then you would indent the first line. We want the whole paragraph to be indented by 1/2 inch, nothing before or after, and double spaced. You also want to make sure that your widow and orphan control is checked. Say OK, OK, and there we have it. Your paragraph is block indented, and you notice that it's now up here on the top. If you want to get rid of something up here on the top that's like in your way, you can always right click on it and say remove from style gallery, and that gives you enough room for some of the other heading styles that you want, or